Hey, welcome back. Shed Talk, episode 2. This is my version of sitting in the shed and telling you what we're up to. Not much has been going on bike-wise. I haven't ridden in the last week. I've just decided to rest for another week after my little episode a couple of weeks ago. But been out walking the dogs, getting my heart rate up, monitoring what I'm doing and looking after myself. But next week we're back on top of things. Just going to tell you right now, it's nearly 40 degrees outside. I'm sitting in my garage. When we had this house when we moved in, we had ducted air conditioning put in. So I got a couple of vents put in the garage. And if you look behind me, you can see the silver wall. So I've got an insulated door as well. And it actually helps. So I can sit in here and work on the bikes in the middle of summer. It's not so bad. So who's the spoilt one? This guy. Right. Number one thing I'm going to go through today is my motocross riding and my motocross background. So I'm about to shoot a video called Old Man Speed, My Moto Life. I think that's what it's going to be. And it's going to be probably a 15 or 20 minute video on how I landed where I am today, how I come up with the name Old Man Speed, and basically a history on what I'm about. So I'm going to give you a little brief on it right now. 1980, I started work as an apprentice electrician, so wages were pretty shit. I was working as an apprentice electrician on about $60 a week and packing shelves at Woolies. And my Woolies job for 2 nights was pretty much equal pay to what I was getting for 40 hours as a sparky. Anyway, move on, get my first year out of the way. Second year, wages go up a bit. I think I was entering my third year, wages jumped quite a bit. So I had motorbikes, I was buying secondhand bikes, but I now had enough money to go and buy a brand new motocross bike. So 1982, I jumped in the car and we drove to Brian Collins' Yamaha in Penrith. I think in Trail and Track magazine, they advertised Kawasaki KX250s for $1,850. So I jumped in the car with a mate, we drove up there, and picked up a bike. It was my first brand new bike, super excited. I'm gonna put some photos on here of that time and you'll see how excited I was with that bike. So anyway, while I'm sitting around the house moping around because I can't go out riding, I actually went, why don't I go back to 1982 and just do something that really made me happy? So I'm gonna show you what I've done. In the last week and a half, I've gone out, I've bought myself a Kawasaki KX450. So I'm back on Kawasaki's. I'll keep my adventure bike KTM, but this is a 2022, but basically a brand new. There's no model difference. Nothing changed between the 22 to the 23 model. So this is a 22 KX450. Picked it up off a guy. It had never been ridden. It's brand new. My good friends at MX Store and 92 Graphics jumped on this project straight away and helped me out. So they've done the graphics kit for me. Mate, it is just such a cool looking motorcycle. Yeah, so 1982, I had a there we are, Kawasaki. And now in 2023, 41 years later, I'm back on Kawasaki. So I am so excited about this. And a lot of people lay a little bit of shit on me because I swap bikes a lot, but generally I always bargain hunt and go sideways with bikes. I'll buy one for $8, sell it for $7.5 and buy another one for $8. I'm always usually in the second-hand market. This bike come up on Marketplace. They're $14,000 retail. A fella had 10 grand on it and we ended up buying it for $9,200. So I'm absolutely pumped. It's a brand new bike, has not been ridden. He rode it up and down the street once and that was it. He blew his knee, so he can't ride moto. So here I am. I'm now a Kawasaki rider for motocross and I can't wait. Next week, I will probably go out and shoot this video. I've also promised to you that I would do the Midas tire video. That will be shot next week as well. I haven't fitted the tires yet, so they will go on in the next couple of days and we will, so next week will be a busy week. I'll do a day on the 1290, doing the tires, and then I'll also go and do a day on the 450, pretty much just shooting a video. I won't do too much moto, but I will just go out and get some really cool shots for a video for the Old Man Speed story, and that's something I'm really excited about bringing everyone. So yes, stand by. Some exciting things happening. One thing I might talk about today is just basic setup of your adventure bike. So I'll push the motocross stuff aside. That's that for now. Let's talk about your adventure bike and setting the bike up. Generally, I find the settings on adventure bikes are very soft. So if you have adjustability on your compression damping or on your shock or your forks, I actually recommend stiffening them up a little bit, just get them a bit firmer. That will help with when you do hit rough roads. They just generally tend to be very undersprung, so you can compensate by increasing your compression damping a little bit. Another thing I'm going to talk about now is how I set my bike up. I've got this camera on a little bin, so bear with me while I just spin it around. So when I'm coaching, a lot of people ask about handlebar position and setup. So what I generally do is the angle of the fork as it comes up here, pretty much try and set the setback of your handlebar the same as the fork. Okay, so my handlebars are in a neutral position, and the neutral position is the same angle as the forks come up. The handlebars will be at that same layback as what the fork is. So you don't want them too far forward, you don't want them too far back laying in your laps. Then when we come to levers, let me show you how this works. So if I'm holding my hand here, I basically just want a nice easy reach out. So I do see people with them too high when I'm coaching, and I do see people with them down, like way down low, we got to reach for them. So just a nice neutral position, okay? Hydraulic clutch, I normally use 1 or 2 fingers. On the 1290, mate, these things are so powerful with their front brake. I'm a single brake guy, and like a single finger with braking this thing. If it's an emergency brake, I might pull the second finger in, but yeah. And while I'm here looking at the cockpit, flip the camera around, I'm going to talk about bar risers. So I'm 6'3". Bar risers are the last thing I would put on an adventure bike or a motocross bike or an enduro bike. This is the reason why. Okay, so bear with me with this. And there are videos of other people talking about this. With your rider triangle, if you raise the bars up further this way, you're closing in the rider triangle. So you're closing in this position here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to increase my reach. I don't want to shorten the cockpit area by bringing the handlebars up closer to me. The theory is, yeah, you'll stand taller. Well, if you go back to my theory, so my video on coaching where I show body position, have a look at how I ride on this bike. So this KTM has no bar risers and it has quite a low handlebar. So you can see there is no major sweep in that bar. They're not turned back too far and they're not coming up too high. So if I had bar risers and brought the bars up to here, all right, all that's doing is bringing this handlebar point back towards me as well. So it closes in the whole rider triangle relationship of how I ride that bike. So I see it a lot on forums, and I see, I hear about it, bar risers, you got to put bar risers on. No, learn to ride in the right body position. The bar risers will not be needed. So I've actually had guys at my schools where I've said, get rid of your bar risers, you don't need them. So look, it's an arguable point. I will have people that'll go, nah, you're an idiot. But mate, I ride a lot. On a motocross bike, I tend to ride a flat handlebar. So if we look at this Kawasaki handlebar, again, look at the angle of my handlebar relationship to the fork. So it is neutral. They are just neutral. My levers are basically easy to reach. They're just below horizontal, okay? So that's horizontal. They're just below that point. If I go over and look at, I've got my KTM 450 for sale. It hasn't gone yet, but it's still here. So these are a pro taper. You can see how low the bend is on these bars. Okay, so again, if I put bar risers on this, well, let's say it was a EXC 500. I see guys that run bar risers on their Enduro KTMs. It's just totally unnecessary. It doesn't assist with your standing. What you're actually doing is closing in your rider triangle. So, yeah, comment below what your thoughts are. I don't like them. I've ridden a few mates' bikes that have had them on. It's like, mate, how do you ride it like that? So if you've got them or you bought a bike with them, get rid of them and try riding without them and see if there's any difference. And you will find the cockpit area that the relationship of you with your stance will be in a better position. So yeah, it's just an accessory that's unnecessary. If it was needed, they would have come on the bike. That's how I always look at things like that. Yeah, bar risers, there you go. That's my thought on that. While I'm here in the garage, I'm going to show you something on why I find it easy to ride a 1290. Better put myself in shot there. Okay, so this is pretty simple. This is what I demonstrate when I'm at my moto schools, all right? So I'll put the camera back a little bit further. Such a professional setup here. Rightio, camera's kind of slipping a bit. You should see the setup, it's sitting on a trolley bin. Okay, so this bike weighs, as everyone knows, 244 kilograms wet. So full tank of fuel, oil, it's 240 kilograms. So everyone goes, well, that's a really heavy bike, but let me demonstrate something to you. Right now, that bike has no weight, okay? So I can literally just hold that with 2 fingers. As long as I hold it within a 1 to 2 degree of level, it weighs nothing. So I can walk around the bike. I think people have seen the demonstrations where they walk around and hold the bike, and you know, it amazes people how you can do it. I can stand over here. That's just because the bike is balanced. So when we ride the bike, if you ride in that central balance position, the bike has no weight, okay? So when we corner, what we simply do is we counterbalance the bike. So if we're leaning the bike this way, we lean the other way. Can you hear that? Creating havoc in the neighborhood. So yeah, with a bike, when we're riding, we counterbalance the weight. Unless we've got a G-force where the bike is sticking, like on the road. On dirt, we generally want to have this weightless feeling in the bike all the time, okay? So if you see there, bike weighs nothing. If I drop it on the ground, sure, it weighs 240 kilograms. But here, this is why when I ride a bike of this size, it looks like it's so easy. And literally the thing is, yeah, I'm making it easy because I'm just using the balance point of the bike and I rotate my body around that balance point. So, makes pretty good sense, eh? You know, don't fight the bike. Let the bike stay in this neutral place and you can literally do whatever you want to do. It doesn't make the bike feel like a 240 kilo bike. So I ride the bike in that balance zone. You know, if I'm coming to a really steep, gnarly little hill, which I'll do when I do the tire review, you'll see what I do with it. I'm never fighting the bike. I'm just standing on the bike. The bike is in a nice balanced position all the time. All I do is I move my body forward, backwards, to the sides to compensate, to keep that weight in a central weightlessness of the bike. So a little bit hard to describe, but if you grab your bike like I just did then and put it in, just get it off the stand and just hold it, you'll see how little the bike weighs. That's what's doing when you're riding down the road. You're not fighting the bike. That's what we do when we turn it on, when we get onto dirt. The only thing is we need to move the bike around, so we have to move to compensate that. And then that can just keep that center of gravity straight up and down. And I think that's one thing a lot of guys coming from road background to off-road bikes really struggle with. Is one thing I really find a lot of is when road guys come and I do figure eights and ovals. I've got a video on that as well, so make sure you check that out. They lean into the corner with the bike. So if I'm turning to this way, a road guy would lean in. But what we want to do is we want to lean the bike over, okay, and then we counterbalance to the outside, again, to keep that center of gravity. That's a pretty basic technique, but have a look at my video, the one that I did on circles and figure eights, and that will really show you how that technique is used. And like I said, road bike converting to adventure bike, it is probably the number one issue that I deal with and have to re-educate people. So it's a bit of a brain trip for them because they've got to, you know, their brain's saying go that way, but I'm telling them no, put the bike that way and you go this way. And then once they feel it and once they understand it, it's like a light bulb moment. So yeah, big transition from road to dirt. Funny enough though, if you look at a super motard rider, motocross bike with, you know, road tires, they use dirt track style techniques. So when I corner on the road, I still tend to corner like a dirt bike guy. I'd never hang off the inside of the bike. I always literally lean bike and keep my body upright. So, drop some comments in about what your thoughts are on that as well. So yeah, it'd be interesting to hear what some of your other riders think of. I'm going to have a quick little 5-minute chat on what people refer to as monetization of a YouTube channel. So YouTube channels, you need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watched hours before they monetize it. So we've had like 360,000 views on our channel. To give you an idea of all the input I've put in, it's absolutely hundreds and hundreds of hours to produce videos. So my monetization, we clicked over to monetization last month. My forecast for the next 4 weeks is $25. So my income from YouTube is $25. So please, if you're watching these, that's why people are saying, please subscribe. We don't like begging for subscribers. If you like what we do, jump on board and subscribe. At least then you'll know when our new videos come out. But it does help. It's not just me, every single video channel. That's why everyone is banging on subscribe, because they want to build those numbers up for this dream. My dream was to hit the goal of 1,000 subscribers and the 4,000 watched hours. It wasn't necessarily to make money out of the advertising that pops up on YouTube channel. But what I will say is, I do monetize my YouTube channel through my schools and my coaching. So by me putting my content out there and showing people, that I give away some instruction, I show people, that is basically how I monetize it. So that is my advertising form. I do my YouTube videos. Hopefully people see what I'm all about. If they're near me, they want to book lessons or group lessons or come on a bike ride with us, and that's literally how I monetize my channel. I don't like being on the hustle. I don't like the whole grinding to make your income. So I do it at a very casual rate. I love producing the videos. I like the thought process that goes into making each video. But I think some people think we make a ton load of money out of the YouTube channel. I think there'd be very few people that do that. So give us a break. Don't pay too much. We're not a TV channel. We're just guys at home with a GoPro 10 like this that costs $500 or $600 shooting videos. So yeah, if you like it, join in the conversation, jump into the comments and let us know what you think of it. Let us know what you want to see. Like, I'm open to that as well. If you want to see some tuition or whatever, let me know. Now, I do have a mixed audience because at heart, I am a motocross rider. That's why I have these motocross bikes. But I'm trying to deliver good content to the adventure bike guys. So if you follow me for adventure bike riding and I throw some motocross stuff on, you might as well watch it. Go and check it out, see what I'm up to. It's all about providing entertainment. Don't think I'm defecting and going over to there. That is who I am. I'm a motorcycle rider. They're my passions, is adventure bikes and motocross. And in my heart, motocross is the one that wins. It's the thing that gives me the most internal pleasure. The adventure biking is just such a great passion, and it's what I love to do. But my lifetime passion has been motocross by far. But the motocross riding is what has led me to adventure bike riding. And I will also say, for the adventure bike rider that wants to build skills, and if you've got a bit of money, go buy a bloody secondhand motocross bike. Come and do a couple of weeks lessons of motocross riding. Your riding will increase phenomenally. It was so easy for me to transition from a 450 motocross bike to a 1290. So I can go out understanding the weight of the bike and do whatever I want on the 1290. So yeah, if you've got cash, go buy a bloody $2,000 motocross bike, go buy some gear, go out to a track and ride, get some lessons, beat off me. Like, I'll teach anybody, but there's also guys doing motocross lessons. Just let them know though, you don't want to be a racer. You just want to learn how to ride better and develop better bike skills. Even trail bike riders, they are very lazy how they move around on a bike. A motocross track is the best way to get good bike skills. And there's a lot of guys harping on about, do this and do that on your adventure bike. That's all good, but if you've got to build your base somewhere, and my base was built on the motocross bike. And I think with my training technique, I was a coach in motocross since 1982. So the way I relay my information across the riders to the riders, I think is very good. And I sort of pride myself on that as well. And I don't try and make an adventure bike guy ride like a motocrosser. I just bring my motocross techniques into adventure biking and demonstrate how it works and why it works is the other thing too. So when I coach, generally anyone who's coached with me will know, if I say do this, there's a reason why we do that. It's not just do this because that's what you do. It's do this because there's a reason for it. This is why we do this. This is why we, so that's the way I like to coach. Yeah, so I hope that helps. Little drama we had in the garage the other day. I was having a little nana nap in the arvo. Di came into the bedroom and said there was a snake in the garage. So we had about a 1 meter long. I didn't know what it was at first because I came in and saw it in behind some paint tins. Go over and show you where it went. So it jumped down in behind here. It was in behind that paint tin. So I couldn't really identify what it was. Turned out to be a red-bellied black snake. Now, I ain't an animal killer. If it was a brown snake would have been dead, but it wasn't. It was a red-bellied black snake. So we rang a snake collector, $130. He came around. He was more interested in talking motorbikes than he was collecting the snake, which is pretty cool. And grabbed the snake, put it in a bag, and off he went. $130 for about 5 minutes work. But hey, I wasn't doing it. But in the meantime, I went and ordered some snake hooks because I grew up in a country town and, unfortunately used to mess around with snakes. And if we saw one, we'd do the whatever, hit it with a stick or whatever. So, the snake story. That was an interesting one in the last week. Shed Talk 2 over and done with. Stay safe, everybody. Keep riding, and we'll catch you real soon.